Hello guys, my name is Nada Serafimovic. I'm a professional illustrator for children's books. I'm from Belgrade, and this is first isolation kind of vlog in Belgrade, in which I want to show you some of the progress and my art supplies and my house where I was born. Some of my colleagues who are watching, who have been studying with me on Academy of Applied Arts, probably know this place, and they helped me kind of a bit restore it because it was a disaster. It's kind of a nice house with one inner backyard and some other with a little bit more green. And there is a workshop behind me of my father, where he works on his projects. Now he's in pension, but he's still working. Yeah, I came to my parents' home because it was kind of easier psychologically and mentally, and because my studio apartment is too small to live there if the isolation comes to a situation of 24 hours, because President of Serbia is kind of he was very persistent about taking all the measures needed so the virus do not spread, so it doesn't go viral in Serbia. And borders are closed and stores are not working. Public transportation, it's 4th of April today, so when I'm filming, so there is not much to say and to show you outdoors because it's empty. But in here there is a lot. I found a lot of inspiration doing things while I'm closed, and I'm quite an indoor person. I can always have fun like doing my own things, which I always tend to break a little bit with some social events. But in this case, I just have so many things on my mind and some personal projects and trying gouache. I'll show you. And yeah, I'm so happy to encourage you a little bit to pursue your indoor dreams and projects and learning languages or doing whatever. And I'll show you how it's working for me so far. And the other part of coming here is that it wasn't practical for us to stay in, because we didn't have like appropriate time window to go from the studio and sleep in my studio apartment, because I have shared studio space. You might saw in some of other vlogs. So, and it's also very peaceful because my parents are not thinking anymore about me, and I'm thinking about them missing something. I can always go shopping with all the masks and all the protection. And we also have a UVC lamp for disinfecting products we buy at the store. So I'm I'm very talky, I'm very chatty today. So I wanted to explain what's happening right now in all the meetings, and I want to show you my father's workshop, which is total ruin, where I set up the workplace for me and my boyfriend to paint. So yeah, let's go. Okay, it's kind of dark here. So this is the workshop. I probably should have turned on the light because I need the light. See the difference? Yeah, it's kind of better now that the sun is on the other side, but nevertheless, here is the place where my boyfriend today is painting some war gaming figurines. He always wanted to do, and now he has time. And here my gouache, I don't have good equipment for. Sorry, I don't know why is it so dark in here. Yeah, this lens doesn't work well for it. But these are my schminke. I have schminke gouache, some cheap gouache, some cotton brushes, and yeah, this is like a CNC machine, and blah blah. And I want let's go back to the light. I will show you. Oh, this is much better. Workshop was a mistake, but I thought it would be interesting. It's better in the morning. It's great in the morning. So this is Clairefontaine aquarelle grain demi satin semi-glazed texture. in Paris they have wonderful art supplies. Great choice, wonderful. It's a little bit pricey, especially for the size of it. It's, I think, A5. It's 25 pieces, 300 grams per square meter, and it's for people from Europe. It's 1824 centimeters and 7.997 and 9.5 inches height. And as you can see, it's probably, you can also hear it, the cover has the quality of the paper inside, which is crazy. You know, when you go to like from Serbia to high standard country that has art supply store, you can definitely see that with the entire design thinking, and it's by Claire Fontaine. I also had some other papers bought and tried. It's wonderful, even for printer. Like I have some printer. It was absolutely gorgeous for doing some, let's say, something to look more like real watercolor. If you have watercolor image and you want to make a print, it was just perfect. So I highly recommend this French brand if you can get your hands on. Yeah, so what I started with, I don't have all of it because I started in isolation after 5 p.m. when it was in Serbia. It was from 5 to 5, and it's still, but this first weekend started from 1 p.m. until 5. It's Saturday today, and from 1 p.m. today until 5 a.m. in Monday will be closed for walking, only walking your pets, dogs outside, and they have certain hour for it, which is kind of pain, but yeah, what do we do? And it's kind of a peak of the COVID right now in Serbia. I think there will be more and more, but it's still kind of a process because the government started testing much more than in previous month. Like it's almost a month. No, it's at least 3 weeks. Okay, so I put this in a window on Sims, so this has the most light, let's say. I did make, you can see it on my Instagram, I'm Nada's Insta, my personal Instagram, and I almost always tag it on Nada's Insta Souvenirs, which is Baggy Bird Instagram account. I did start working on some gouache illustrations, and I don't know why, but I didn't use gouache before. Probably because I thought this would happen. So probably because I thought the only way to use gouache is to be expensive on expensive paper, which turned out to be true. And I was always in love with acrylics, oils, almost everything I catch, but acrylics were something that fitted my temperament, the way I want to work fast and for it to be drying fast, so I can go with lots of layers. I love doing a lot of pasta on it. And I bought gouache, which is perfect for scanning because it doesn't have any shine, it doesn't leave too many layers. It's just also makes you put some watercolor quality on your work, but also have ability to put some nice like poster quality closed fields of color to make the form and color palette even stronger. So yeah, let's see all the things I've started. So I have 2 on my Instagram, which is one guy from Harajuku from Tokyo. I saw him there and I remembered him since it's a very strong impression because he was so cool. The guy in a skirt with very psychedelic details. That's the first one I tried to paint with gouache at all. And then I did a very nice girl going from school and being shy. And then I had such a cool vision in my head for this. I'm trying to give myself time to imagine things before I draw them because I find that Not that I don't do that very often. I always jump on things by sketching them as soon as I can when I'm doing commissions. With this series, inspired by my trip to Japan, I wanted to challenge myself to use a new technique that I never used before, and also push the shapes and make stylization as strong as possible. Also, for example, there is this one is like, I didn't like because I started mixing colors right away, which I do like. I like high impact process of painting. I always loved that. You know, that's the kind of person I am usually. You know, I can do watercolor from like 15 minutes or 1 hour or 2 hours and it will still look finished because I can imagine my process in advance. But with the new technique, I found this to be a little bit more like, it's right away trapped in its own color. So it's better to start a little bit more watery like here, and then to put more layers, as many layers as you can, because gouache is so subtle, it's wonderful, and it's hard to make a contrast art if you're gentle like me. On this paper, this is a very good 100% cotton paper. It's semi-glazed, so yeah, I wanted to, yeah, this is a video without script, so I just want to vlog. So this is one girl I saw in Tokyo walking dogs, but these are kind of it's not finished. You can see the dogs are not finished. There's so many details to put on. Shoes are kind of done. Jeans as well. Dog starts to look okay, but there is no volume. Her portrait is nice. It has a nice start, but still there is so much to be done on her face. Hair is, yeah. Sorry, my boyfriend went to the workshop to finish his airbrush face for his figurines. So some of the things were I just made them, you know, and they looked strong right away. But for the things that are harder to manage, like that are more complex, they just tend to need more layering and thinking after laying out the mid-tone or the main color that you want. So this definitely requires more hours of work, and I wanted to just, yeah, go from one to another, to dedicate myself and go from piece to piece. But then I realized after 2 days, I can see some things that I can add or fix. And here, I wanted a totally different approach. This is where I started to close the texture a little bit. It was totally watery, like thousands of strokes with watery gouache. There was no watercolor, just gouache, but it was with lots of water. I wanted to create so much texture and then remove it with more thick layers of gouache wherever I need. But I just wanted a lot of texture, and I did started removing it a little bit here on the face, but hair is still a lot. There's a lot of dry brush effects, and I kind of enjoyed this because this is how I explain Japanese workers. You know, they never express to their bosses how they feel, they never complain, but they're always like suppressing that. So, and because they're so cool with recycling, I wanted to make a compliment in this regard, and plus make some kind of a joke to put him in a situation where he's obviously recycling, but he's thinking about his boss or something. So this is the second one, and there are two more I will show you maybe in future vlogs when this entire series is finished. I want to make 7 to 10 character designs in gouache. Okay, so this attempt is kind of more serious, let's say, because I realized I can tell more about the characters with a little bit more details on them. And I was amazed in Tokyo how they treat their pets and how they dress their pets and how they dye their hairs and the hair of their pets. So yeah, in the previous one we can see that half of the dog is dyed pink, to complement the girl. So in here I wanted to make some very unusual reggae style grandma, and of course I'm trying for her to look more like Asian grandma, and then her dog and a cat. And they use these, they definitely use, I saw something like this where pets are not walking in Japan. They're even afraid to go and walk. We saw some pets we couldn't believe. So this is one of the situations where I show what I saw on one hand, and on the other I just enjoy combining some elements I saw and trying to create the character and the details around it to tell as much as I can with this illustration about the character. And so far I do like how this portrait looks. I think there is a watery place. Now I feel comfortable leaving white areas of the paper, because I decided I really like characters to be in white, which I usually don't. But to leave the place, no, I didn't want. And now I like the choice here. It looks fresh and more fresh, far more fresh and nice than making it with the white. Definitely, it's better for tone paper, I guess. And yeah, you can see I pushed the shapes a lot, especially with her hair. So I decided for this series to try to sketch as long as I can, because I have nerves for it. And while I'm sketching, to think and then to think before, and just to trying to make something really cool that I didn't make before. And also spend probably as much time as I need. Sometimes you don't need much time for a nice result, but that depends on how complex you can imagine your color scheme, how do you mix your colors. I do think I'm pretty slow with this, although I'm a kind of a high impact when I paint every time, because mixing colors is pretty it takes time. On the other hand, if you want original, I never use a color from a tube. That's so stupid. So always try to make some color that you imagined before, or saw. Like I saw this kind of equipment for dogs. And on the other hand, too, if you first layer, you have to let it dry. I tried putting it on a fresh paper made with watery layers, and then to go right over top, it's not visible. The paper just it's soaking in and it stays the same. So these nice quality layers are going as a second layer, something that looks finished, like on this very part of the hair. So definitely takes time also drying, and considering all that, it's so far I enjoyed. I really think I do have what to show, but photos are not enough for me. I just saw so much, and I want to turn it into a series. I was also thinking about the big scene at the end, where I really get into this with more preparation. This is just going right on paper. I have some sketches from my sketchbooks from Japan, but these are kind of new characters that are created not based on a sketchbook, but improvised, and like total upgrade of what I saw in life there when I was drawing from life. So yeah, this is definitely something that is total combination plus something I like to add. And yeah, it's a really nice creative process, because when it's based on something, you can definitely get better with remembering those portraits. Like I did here, I didn't look at any photos, and I wanted to look at photos to make it justice, because people in Japan are so interesting. And on the other hand, I just said no, I will not use that. I will definitely not be someone who is just using reference to look cool and for result to look very professional. I just want to push my shapes and stylization as much as I can on all the pieces. So at the end, in plan, I don't know if I will do it, I want to, based on all the experiences from the first several pieces, I want to create one big scene. I have arches, also paper from Paris, which is very good, and it's bigger. It's bigger than A4, yeah, I want to finish one scene in gouache that it's kind of like a, I don't know, I want to do it something like a bird perspective, but not a bird perspective, something like a twisted perspective where I show some shops and prompts and people walking around and showing the real Japan in my own way. So yeah, that's most probably it. This cat is not finished. You can see it's all underpainted, but I want to update you. And I also filmed like a lot of it, but I don't have very nice equipment to film while I'm drawing. It's not very nice. I need a better stand. And yeah, I also want to get back to the pieces when I really see something, and to evolve and let's say upgrade in the way I approach and think about the pieces, not really just film it and say it's done. I love those videos, that kind of videos on YouTube, but this is not a series where I should be pushing that. Okay, so this was an update on what I've been doing lately. It's meant to be a Tuesday video. It's our channel. Tuesdays are mostly for art and something that is more local and personal, and it's not about traveling to Japan, but it can be related, like this one. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope you stay safe, and that this entire let's say period of time will serve you well to find something within yourself that you didn't have time to, or you just didn't imagine it's something that is important to you, and you found that it's important now, so you can nurture that for yourself and learn new things. And I just yeah, I really hope you're well, so stay well, and see you in the next vlog. Bye. I forgot to say welcome to my parents' house. This is the other part. This is the place where I played the most. It was a big other tree here when I was where I was writing my songs and making my first drawings when I was 5, 6, 7, 8. And yeah, I'm the only child that is born in this house, and that's why although it's ruined, very important and for me, and I'm very sentimental about it. And yeah, the backyard really gives a luxury feeling in these times, because you can go out but not actually being out of your house, and I think that's a really good thing. So yeah, enjoy, and you can also see some few shots of we're full of antiquities, old things that my grandpa, when he was traveling the world, brought from he was traveling by ship with the president of that time, Tito. So the ship was just good enough for him to bring stuff. Like I was a backpacker. We're a backpacker generation, but for him, he could bring some things from Africa, some things from India, and we have a small figurine made from quartz of Taj Mahal, for example, and all the other very interesting things, seashells, and I hope it's a little bit more domestic, cozy, and interesting for you to show some of that as well. Also, some of the washed laundry hanging here. So yeah, enjoy the vlog, and thank you so much for watching and being with me. Bye.